Hello everyone, this is the Volkswagen Id.3 GTX and it's the best Id.3 that ever existed.
This video is brought to you by a better route planner, the route planner for EVs. Hundreds of cars are supported. Choose your configuration, plan your route with the charging network that you want to prefer or charging networks that you want to avoid. If you're a premium member, you can use real-time weather forecast and traffic information, and you can also use a better route planner in your car with Android Auto or Apple CarPlay. Use the link in the description to support the channel and use a Better Route Planner Premium for 30 days for free.
The form, the trunk space, the interior space, nothing has changed. What has changed is the technology. Now we have a 79 kWh battery, where in the Id.3 Pro S before we had 77 kWh. And more importantly, we have more power. Before we had 150 kilowatt rear wheel drive, now we have 210 kilowatt rear wheel drive, the APP 550 motor, the same as my Id.7 and the new Id.4, Id.5, Skoda Enyaq and so on have. So this is amazing because you have more power, but it's also more efficient and you have a bigger battery, and the result is the highest WLTP range we ever had in an Id.3. We also get the new hardware that came with ID Software 4.0. This car already has 5.0 on it, so we get the battery heating manually or navigating to a charger. We have Spotify in the car. In the app we now have locking finally and other things, so it's awesome. Biggest difference from my old Id.3 Walter that I got in September 2020, no longer with us, I have no idea where the car is the gear change. Back in the day it was here attached to the cockpit, now it's here extra, and this is the same as all the other ID cars. Id.4, 5, Bus, 7 all have it now here. That means that the wiper control is not here anymore, it's on the left. Rear wiper is here on the top. And you only have two sensitivity sensors settings for the rain sensor, which is a bit sad. But you get the new steering wheel design. You have the steering wheel heater button here. You have the view button where you can change either the cockpit or the head-up display when you just go up and can change it. Here you have your volume and next song, previous song, and this is all for the cruise control. And we are welcomed by the OK button for the privacy that's still here and it's gonna stay in here for a while, sadly. The most amazing thing that I said before is the preheating of the battery. In the charging window under optimize, you can see your battery temperature, not as a value, but you see this blue line. The less the blue line is, the colder the battery, and if it's on full, that means perfect battery temperature for DC charging. And if the battery is cold, you have a manual button that you can just press, and with 5.5 kilowatt it will preheat the battery. When you're navigating to somewhere, you can activate, you have to not give an address, you have to really select the charger. And you can select that it should preheat on the way there, and the good thing is it doesn't heat it up with 5 kilowatt and then that's it. It sees, okay, battery temperature is this, you're driving like this, maybe a bit of power, so it uses as least of energy as possible to get the battery to the perfect temperature. We have the new window that came with 4.0, this is 5.0 like I said. This is though a 12-inch screen, not the 15-inch screen that I have in my Id.7, and that means that there are less buttons here and here, but you can still live with it. You don't have seat ventilation and you don't have the same massage function, so this is not in your infotainment system here that you can change anything with the massage. It's just a button on your seat and you can just turn it on or off, no programs or anything. The goodbye window is also a nice thing that you get when you put the car into park and unbuckle. Then you get, do you want to charge right away to 80% or do you want something else? If you have a charge plan, you can use this. Climate now, this means if you turn that on for 30 minutes, the temperature that you have set will be held. In the summer, cools the car. In the winter, it will warm up the car and keep it for 30 minutes. After that, you have to do it with the app. Then if you want a preconditioning before you drive somewhere, you can turn that on and off in here. Your alarm system, and you can save the last parking maneuver that you have done because we have Park Assist Plus as well. Ignition is on with just pressing the brake. That's it. Car is on. I can drive when I put the gear in. And when you put the gear in, you are in D. This is no regen at all, so you're coasting. And when you press the brake, it's not the friction brake, then it's regen. But it also means you use a bit less energy if you really look ahead when you need it and when not. When you do it again, you are in B, and then you have the full regen, which in ID cars is not very strong, but it's okay. As in all new cars, you have two things on because of EU regulations. One is the lane assist and the second is the overspeed warning. That means the car sees, okay, it's 60 here, you're driving 63 or something, and if you do that for a few seconds, you get a warning. In the ID cars, it's not a horrible sound, but still, we would like to turn that off, and that's done very easily. You just press assist, and I have it here as a shortcut, and then you deactivate the first two options, which is the lane assist and the overspeed warning. We still have our 4 drive modes: Eco, Comfort, Sport and Individual. Sport is the same power, just with a bit more torque in the beginning. Eco has reduced power and you only can drive 130. And also your power for heating and cooling is reduced. In Individual, you can make your own drive mode with different options for different things. Let's do cruise control. Just press set, then cruise control is on with a minus plus button. When you press lightly, it's 1 km/h difference. When you press hard, it's 10, or when you swipe, it's also 10. In the middle, you have your distance from 1 to 5, and 5 is really far. That's awesome. And you can change the mode. When you press on mode, you can flip through travel assist, where it's the steering assist, or just cruise control, where the steering is not being done, or the speed limiter. Cruise control overall works really well, especially when you are in drive mode Eco, or when you go in the Individual and put the ACC to Eco. Then the distance control is done very smoothly. It doesn't give a lot of power when it has to accelerate or when it has to slow down. Yeah, this is amazing. My Id.3 that I had a smaller battery, 58 kWh usable, and it had the 150 kilowatt motor, so 204 horsepower, and it felt good. The big battery Id.3 with the same motor felt a bit underpowered, and also the regen was a bit less because the car was heavier. This car with the new 210 kilowatt motor feels more powerful than my Id.3. It has a bigger battery even than the Pro S, and that's awesome. And it's more efficient than the old motor. That rocks. Time to accelerate. Id.3 GTX, my old Id.3, smaller battery and less power, was 6.9 seconds or something. And important, you can have an Id.3 GTX performance with 240 kilowatt, 30 kilowatt more, and it automatically has the DCC, the dynamic chassis control, with a bit more sportier drive. They both come with 20-inch wheels, which will have a tiny bit higher consumption. That's how it is, but it feels a bit more sporty. And the performance can have a top speed of 200 km/h, the fastest Volkswagen ID there is. First direction, 5.6 seconds, but not valid. 5.84 seconds and it's valid.
400 meter.
Yeah, shut up. Over a second faster than my old Id.3 with a bigger battery and a heavier battery. 130 on the highway and you feel that it's an Id.3. It's not an Id.4, it's not an Id.7. It's not the same comfort, it's not the same quietness. It's just different, but it's still okay. 150 feels good. Of course it's louder. Again, it's the same thing. It's an Id.3. That's what it is, and this hasn't changed. Let's drive a bit faster if we can. Huh? Yeah, 180 feels good. Totally fine. In my Id.3 back in the day, top speed was 160, and I could just drive it very comfortably. I mean, of course it's the same here, and even at 180, even in a corner, totally fine. It's not as stable and comfortable as my Id.7 at 180, but that's understandable. But what an amazing car this is. You get the new technology, you get more power, a bigger battery, higher acceleration from 0 to 100, higher top speed, and more range out of all this. How awesome is that? If you want to follow me on Instagram, BatteryLife1, and if you want to support the channel, there's a Patreon link in the description below. And here on YouTube, there's also channel membership. And if you want to know what's happening behind the scenes, I have a third YouTube channel, Behind the Battery. But that's it for me. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great day and take care. Bye.